The MTDCNC podcast, sponsored by Langley Alloys, unique metals for demanding applications, providing first-class performance and an international service.
Hello and welcome to this week's MTD podcast. But before we get going, I'd just like to say a quick thanks to Langley Alloys who've sponsored this week's podcast. Now, today I'm here at Sodick Europe with Greg and Connor. So guys, can you introduce yourselves?
Yeah.
Connor.
So I'm Connor. So I'm the technical sales manager for the UK and Ireland.
Greg.
It's Greg Capp, and I'm the sales director for the UK and Ireland.
But you don't work for Sodick Europe.
No, we don't. So Sodick Europe this is the European HQ here for the whole of Sodick. So Soditek is the sole dealer within the UK and Ireland, and we're housed in this building as well.
Now, I'm glad you got that right, because I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
Now, today we're going to look at, is it a brand new machine or a recently released machine, or set of machines, should I say, the VN range?
Yeah, it's a recently released machine, so it's a brand new series of machines. It replaces the old VL series machine.
Now, Connor, just before we get into this machine, I just want to quickly talk about the Sodick Europe facility. Now, can customers come here and have machining demos, training, that sort of thing?
Yeah, that's right, Tom. So this is our European headquarters and European showroom. So we've got currently 12 machines on display here in our showroom and others available in our warehouse. So they're all available for demonstration, test cuts, anything you want to see.
So really everything's under one roof?
That's
plus
correct, yeah.
Consumables as well?
That's it. So it's all in-house. We supply from here in the whole of Europe with consumables and parts and such.
And I'd just like to say, I've walked around this facility and it's huge and it's fascinating to be able to walk around it. Now, Connor, you've recently done a 6-episode series with MTD's own Lindsay Vickers on the VN range. So what's that been like? What have you actually got into on that?
That's correct. Well, it's hard to try and pull 6 episodes out of something, but we've managed it anyway. So really, it's more about the cost of ownership of the machine and what that's going to offer you as an end user. So, you know, the VN series is sitting at a point in the market where it can go into any environment, any shop floor, any manufacturing facility, and really offer a very high-end level of technology at a very aggressive price point. With any Sodick product you buy, you're getting a linear machine anyway, and with that we're offering that 10-year accuracy guarantee. So just from that perspective moving forward and the longevity of the machine, you know, we've got machines out there that are knocking on 30 years old now really, and they're still going strong. And especially with the ceramic components and the linear, we can guarantee that accuracy through the life of the machine.
And I think that says something about you guys as a whole. Like, you've got machines at 30 years old that are still cutting to micron tolerances.
And that's what makes our job as sales guys incredibly difficult. It's a good thing, but it's a bad thing at the same time.
I was going to say, how would you sell a machine to someone who's still got one running 30 years later?
It makes you proud of the product you're selling, but also it's quite frustrating at times. But.
Yeah. So, obviously, Greg, Connor said about how it's got a great price point in this machine. Yes. But how does that work on performance? Because obviously, you want to get parts out as quick as possible. So how does this machine perform?
Well, some people want to get parts out as quick as possible, but some people want to get parts out correctly. And this machine will offer both of those. Because of the reliability, it's well known that Sodick machines are very reliable. So you're not having the constant breakdowns, the service fees. So that helps the customer know that he's reducing his costs in that way as well.
Now, Connor, it's something we don't like to talk about, but things sometimes break down. It's just life. So if I've got a machine that's broken down, and obviously Wire EDM's normally, coming from a machinist background, is normally the last point of a part. So I need that turned around quickly. So spares and repairs, how quick can I get something that returns?
I mean, that's it. So really, you know, we're like a 24-hour turnaround. So you need any parts, any spare parts, everything. It's all in stock here, and we can guarantee that'll be on your doorstep within 24 hours. So really, it's all about keeping that downtime to an absolute minimum. Again, couple that with 7 field service engineers. You know, we've got some of the best support in the market.
Obviously, ownership of the machine, and this is a new machine to market. What have you done differently with this machine to make it different but better for the user, for the operator?
Really, it's more about the performance of the machine. So, you know, energy saving is a big thing at the moment with the cost of energy going through the roof. That's a massive buzzword in any industry you're in, really. So we've managed to change some parts and aspects of the machine to just give you that better performance and better energy consumption. But from an operator's perspective, really, it's just ease of use of the machine. So, you know, we've got sort of, you know, world-class programming capability on the machine. So, you know, if you were to purchase it, you don't need any additional software. You can do it all at the controls. So from an operator's point of view, you ain't running into an office, programming a part, and then running back out, checking the program, finding out there's something wrong. And, you know, it's that forwards and backwards. You can do it all on the fly at the machine as you go in. So really, from an operator's point of view, it's perfect. With a wire EDM machine, it's key. Flushing is absolutely key for any wire EDM application. Without flushing, you haven't got wire, let's face it. So what we've done, the majority of your energy consumption is based on that flushing and all the filtration units. So that's really up to 70% of the cost. It's just in that alone. So by changing, I mean, we've changed our supply tank in a way. We've changed the flushing. We've been a little bit more intelligent with the pumps and the way we control it. So we've really minimised the costs there for the end user. And also as well, if that machine was just sat idle, it's not going to run things it doesn't need. So, you know, when it's not being used, it'll just shut it down until you call it up and need it.
So you're always thinking about the company. You're always thinking about the company who's owning that machine, not just...
Correct, yeah.
But it also gives them the option to continue using the machine. If they need speed, they can do that. A lot of people need the speed, so they can do that on this machine. But then a lot of people want to save the energy nowadays. So you've got the options to switch between the two as well.
But let's be honest. If you bought a Wire EDM, the main thing is you don't want it to stop.
No.
It's... How does this machine give me confidence to leave it running? To go home on a night and leave it running? What happens if the wire breaks or... any problem like that?
And that's the beauty of the Sodick products, the build quality. It's a Japanese product. Everything that comes out of Japan is quality, and this machine is not like no other, you know. So if the wire does break overnight, it'll rethread the wire, you know. It's a great all-around machine, really. It's something that someone can rely on. It's a workhorse.
So it's there to be run.
Yeah.
Now,
That's it.
Connor, I want to get quite in detail here, and I'm hoping you've done your research here.
Try your best.
So there's two different models of the new VM range. There's the 400 and the 600. So Greg, we're going to put him on the spot here.
Yeah.
What are the working dimensions on the 4 and the 600?
Right, so on the 400, you've got a working capacity of 400 by 300 by 230 in the Z. And on the 600, you've got 600 by 400 by 310.
Look at that. The guy knows his stuff.
Well, he just read the brochure before he came out.
Now, something I've noticed about this machine is you've got quite a big working envelope for quite a small footprint, but you've also got a lot of access into this machine.
Yeah.
Is that something else you've looked at for an operator to make it easier for them to load it?
User-friendly, ease of use, really. You know, if you're picking up a really heavy part, you're going to want easy access into the machine. But also, what we've incorporated this time is full CE guarding, and not a lot of companies can offer that. So that's key to blue chip companies, that is.
And obviously, with the sizes Connor mentioned, why have you gone for them slightly bigger sizes compared to other machines in that sort of size range? Because you've got more on Z than...
Yeah, I think that just gives us an advantage. I think it's something that Sodick have always done. They've seen that gap in the market, so it gives us an advantage over everyone else.
With our previous range of machine, the VL, we've increased the Z height and the capacity, because that was probably one of, not necessarily a complaint, but from a customer's point of view, you know, they just love that little bit, you know, they always want to squeeze a little bit extra out, and that's exactly what we've done.
And it is always the same wherever you go.
And it will be the same on this machine. You know, we'll sell a machine to a customer, and then he'll say, I need that extra 10 in the Z, and I haven't got it. It's just the way of life, unfortunately.
Now, obviously, you brought this in a really great price point. But you don't lose anything for that price point. So can I take on more challenging work? Does it support various machining options?
Yeah, I think it's, as I say, it's a Sodick product. So you're getting everything you'd get with any other Sodick machine, but at a lesser price point. It's quite hard to sell that, really, because everyone thinks if it's a lesser price, that means it's losing something. But it's not with this. Obviously, it's not got all the bells and whistles like some of the other machines we've got. But as I say, this is a workhorse. This is for your everyday use machine. So,
and even when I was reading the brochure before, you've even got things on here you wouldn't think of, like two-cut operations for cutting stacked parts. So is that, again, just to help an operator keep it running?
That's exactly that. So, downtime is not a word anybody likes, really. And it's all about just getting the parts turned around quickly on the machine. So not necessarily the running time of the machine, but it's more about, getting the parts on and off. And again, with it Wire EDM, if you can stack it, then absolutely fantastic.
And I just want to quickly, I'm going to test you on this one now, Greg.
oh, really?
Machining accuracy.
Yeah.
What are we looking at on this machine?
On this machine, you'll be easily achieving 2 to 3 micron accuracy every single time.
This is plus minus 15 degrees on this machine. If you need a little bit more, there are options available. So we do taper flex option, which then allows us up to 35 degrees plus minus on the VM range. And then, if you're really going for some crazy angles that are difficult to do, then we can offer rotary devices. So yeah, we do offer rotary heads. You can get different ranges. We can go more for like an EDM turning application, so especially like grinding wheel dressing, for example. We can offer a high-speed rotary axis to do applications like that. And then also anything as well, if you just want to index a part round or index and have a slow rotation, we've got other heads available that we can integrate, so they're fully integrated into the control.
So again, there's something there for
everybody. Yeah,
of what a customer will
that's it. That's exactly that.
It's a niche market, but you're talking about extra niche products.
Yeah.
But again, you've got everything there what's needed.
Of course.
Now, Connor, earlier you started talking about the control. So, Greg, what can I get on this control, and how does this help an operator compared to other machines on the market?
It's very user friendly, and it's comparable to every other machine that we produce. The beauty about Sodick is the control is set on the same on every single machine, so it's so easy to pick up. And along with all the on-site training from our 3 application engineers, it's so easy. When a customer buys a machine, generally they'll get 5 days included of training on-site here, or sometimes even at the customer. We usually say 3 days on-site here will get you started on the machines, and then you bank 2 days. So you'll use that for some advanced training within the first year of owning the machine.
Oh, yeah, and then even if a couple of months down the line, if they forgot a few little bits,
so
something keeps going.
It's the response time as well. So if there is any issues, we're on the phone, and you can get the answer straight away to any problems.
So again, like you said, Connor, it's that word people don't like, downtime. You can be up and running.
And we've got the backup and support.
It's all right having one of the best products, but you've got to be able to back it up as well.
You've got to have the service and support to back that up.
And that's what we've got here. We have got the best.
Now, programming. You mentioned earlier that you don't need an offline system to program this machine. So what sort of programming can you do straight from the machine?
Correct. So we can draw. So we've got full 2D drawing capability on the machine, which for most wiring applications anyway, a 2D profile with a bit of taper on here and there is simple enough to do. We can generate that on the control, not a problem, no problem at all. We then can, if we wanted to, we could import a 2D drawing, or we can even import a 3D model. So for some of your 4-axis complex shapes, which in the past have always been a bit of a nightmare, you've got to have 2 profiles, you've got to split them up, you've got to make sure everything's joined nicely. You can take all the information from a model. So from an operator's perspective, you can throw that model into the machine, you can select the features you want, define a cutting path, whether you're doing die, punch, open, strategy, material thickness, wire diameter, and you're off to the races.
And let's be honest, for components like gear cutting, let's say, how many people want to try and draw that shape? Because you'll be there all day. So if you can just pull the model straight in and program straight off the model, as well as it being easier for the operator, the speed to get up and running must be out of this world as well.
Yeah, it's phenomenal, really. You can take a very complex shape, and to a half decent, competent operator, within 10 minutes, they've got a program there ready to run.
And again, it's like we keep coming back to, it's all about downtime and not having that downtime. Now, there's been a number thrown around today of 30%.
Yep.
What does that relate to?
That's the energy saving compared to the last model. So that's just on a model that was only 5 years back in time. If we're looking further, then the energy savings increased even further.
And obviously at the moment with energy prices where they are, everybody's trying to cut that little bit everywhere they can.
Yeah, the more you can cut out of your, really, it's all affects the bottom line at the end of the day.
Now, I've only got a couple more questions, I promise, and then we're done. You took the option to have a triple filtration system on this machine. What does that help? And how does that help keep the machine running? And what about maintenance on it?
I mean, really, filtration's important anyway, because that's what's keeping your process fluid clean. And obviously, with that, you're keeping the machine clean. So really, filtration is absolutely key. And by adding the extra filter, you've got longer running times without having to replace the filters. And yet, again, it's all about that maintenance and that downtime perspective. It's less time the operator's got to, strip the filters out and put a new set in. So it's just really that ease of use.
Now, Greg, a lot of people at home know me for running a CNC machine because that's what I did for quite a while.
Yeah.
But I did also run a couple of Wire EDMs at the same place I worked when somebody wasn't there. And sometimes the problem we had on them, and these were old machines, don't get me wrong, was the wire collection system. Because obviously, when that wire's coming out, you don't want to touch it.
No.
But if it's sprawling all over the floor and people trip hazard and stuff.
Yeah.
So what sort of wire collection system has this machine got? And obviously you were saying about you've got guarding all the way around, and health and safety is a big point at the moment.
Well, this is going into a wire bin at the back, so it's spooling into a wire bin. But there is an option that you can add a wire chopper on there as well if you haven't got so much space behind the machine, which will chop the wire into like a V shape, and then it collects into a bin.
It's it's all about handling work where you're handling that material handling, so it's you're keeping it compact. You're not got bins full of massive spools of wire.
And let's be honest, wire isn't sharp.
No.
You catch it wrong, and it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So that just another that safety feature of being able to have a wire chopper on it is great. Now, Connor, I've got one last question, and then I promise I'll let you both go.
And then you'll go home.
Yeah. This machine has got I don't really know what you call it, but the working plates.
Yes.
Call them
So the work table.
the work table. But you've actually got 4 strips. It's complete square.
We have,
not
yeah.
Just
So you can on other manufacturers of machine tools. I'm not going to mention who they are, but some of them, and even some of our really older machines, just used to offer a 3-sided table. So we offer a 4-sided table. So obviously for putting rails across and spanning workpieces, we can get good workpiece clamping.
And obviously that must make it easier for that gives the operator more flexibility as well, because instead of just having your rails
one way, you can have it, rather than having them across in X, you can have them lengthways in Y.
You can even have them diagonal as well, because you can get all 4 points.
That's
of
it.
clamping.
It's just really it's flexibility. We've been able to set up any part that comes through that door.
Now, obviously we've been through.
Was there one more question, is there?
No. We've been through. Well, I said that, no. We've been through everything on this machine. But is there anything that I've missed, or is there anything you want to add just before we finish?
I think to get a really feel of this machine, you need to come and see it, and that's the hardest part, is getting customers to come, because everyone's so busy. Come and see the building, come and see the product, come and see us, and that's what we want. That's what we want.
Chuck as a test cut, Chuck as a drawing, and let's see what we can do for you.
What happens if I have a part that I need to cut, but I'm not sure if the machine can do it? Can I send you a model, a DXF, or even the part and say, look, can you do me a test on this before I buy the machine to make sure to do what I want?
I mean, that's it. I mean, we're here. We've got lots of technical guys here. Like I say, we've got 3 applications engineers that are based on site. We've also got our Japanese support engineers here, so they're a direct link back to our factory. So yeah, really, you can chuck us anything, and we can tell you exactly what the machine is you need and exactly how you're going to do it.
So, guys, a big thank you from me and for all at MTD.
Thank you for coming.
Just before we finish, I'd just like to say another thank you to Langley Alloys, who deal in quite exotic materials. They deliver worldwide. So if you're looking for a new steel supplier, don't forget to check them out. And again, we'll see you in the next MTD podcast.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the MTDCNC podcast, sponsored by Langley Alloys, specialists in a wide range of exotic materials for any application for all your engineering needs.